Some political news now. The Liberals declaring victory in a federal by-election in Ontario. Former provincial finance minister Charles Sousa easily won the night with 51% of the vote. This is in the riding of Mississauga Lakeshore. Speaking with supporters, Sousa said he wanted to run a different campaign than his Conservative rival, Ron Schinzer.
We're living through challenging times. Unfortunately, there are some who recklessly respond to those challenges by stoking fears, by feeding anger, and by sowing division. But we refuse to play that game. We ran with a spirit of optimism about our future, about caring for each other and supporting those who need it most.
All right, let's bring in Scott Reid now, CTV News political commentator. Scott, great to see you. You know what? It is interesting to see Charles Sousa now in this position. Talk to me about what you think he can bring to the table for the Liberals, but the Mississauga Lakeshore riding, this is a big one.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, he brings a 905 area riding, and everybody knows that 905, that band around Toronto, that's where elections are won and lost. That's where general elections are won and lost. That's where majorities are won and lost. So it's definitely a good indication for the Liberals. It was a Liberal riding, so they're able to hold it. But, you know, anytime a government can win a by-election, that's a feather in their cap, because by-elections are tailor-made to be protest shots at the government. People can vote against you without any consequence. There can be local issues, all of those kinds of things. The other thing I would say, and I would really stress this, is that while it is good news for the Liberals, by-elections provoke a weird reaction in creatures like myself, political pundits, observers, the salon talkers. They love to overanalyze and overestimate the significance of a by-election result. So I wouldn't declare the Conservative Party under Pierre Poilievre dead. I wouldn't declare Justin Trudeau the winner of the next election just yet.
Let's talk about Pierre Poilievre here. And what this, I mean, again, as you say, we can sort of dive into that and pull away the layers and sort of read between the lines. But Pierre Poilievre is going to be sort of watching and looking at where things are shifting as he prepares for when we do go to a federal election.
Yeah, I think a couple of lessons from it. I mean, first of all, Pierre Poilievre wasn't very visible during this by-election because they likely felt they weren't going to win, and they didn't want to associate themselves too heavily with a losing cause. So I think he deliberately tried to not gamble his brand on this outcome, thinking that it wasn't a likely win. But you still lost it. And, you know, you sit down and you do a postmortem if you're in opposition, and you say, I do need to win ridings like this in order to win the next election. And, you know, I think it probably is going to reinforce a couple of things that if you watch him since he became leader, he's been sort of trying to stick to. Stay away from extreme issues. Stay away from, you know, anti-vax, stay away from pure bile and anger, and focus instead on economic pocketbook issues. I think the one thing you'd be bothered about in these results, if you were Pierre Poilievre, is you actually saw the Conservative vote total fall. And he's been talking pretty steadily for 4 or 5 months in a time of tough economic prospects, and he's been talking about bread and butter issues. So he's going to want to reinforce that, and he's going to figure out how to connect with people in that band of 905 seats. I think it's going to be a heavy focus on economics, on housing, on those kinds of issues that really hit people right in their pocketbook, and stay away from some of these more charged, value-laden issues that might not appeal to what we call the soccer mom vote.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that because only 15% of voters came out to vote, and a very low number. What does that say to you then? Because perhaps Poilievre is kind of going, all right, you know, as you say, we're not going to worry too much about this one, but we need to focus on the bigger picture here.
Yeah, you actually take comfort in that if you're Pierre Poilievre, because you say, well, that tells you that people aren't so motivated that, you know, we've got a problem here. They didn't come out to vote against him. It wasn't a referendum on his brand of leadership. By the same token, you sort of say, what am I going to do to be able to mobilize voters on a broader basis come a general election? I mean, if there's one thing that the Conservatives are good at, it is working their base, getting their base out so that when there is an overall low voter turnout, they can disproportionately outperform.
Right.
So they're not as spooked as others are by a low voter turnout. Who a low voter turnout really freaks is the NDP, and their results here were really bad. I mean, they lost half the votes they had in the last election. That's not a result that they can rely on, and that's great news for the Liberals, because if the Liberals are eating the NDP lunch in swing ridings, that means it's a mano-a-mano fight between Trudeau and Poilievre, and that's just what Trudeau wants, because he thinks that head-to-head battle, he's going to win that 9 times out of 10 in Ontario ridings.
We will see how it all pans out, because I hate to say that federal election, Scott, is really not that far behind. All right, Scott Reid, CTV News political commentator. Great to have you as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Angie. See ya.